Griffith's Infant Development Test Second Version. This video was made for educational purposes by the Kangaroo Foundation and directed in August 2012 by psychologist Marta Cristo. Chapter 1. Introduction. My name is Marta Cristo. I am the psychologist of the Kangaroo Mother Care program in Bogota, and I have made part of the trainers of people coming to Bogota from our country or abroad to learn about the method. In the Kangaroo Mother Care program, we make 2 assessments of psychomotor and socio-emotional development, one at 6 months and the other one at 12 months of corrected age. Because the premature babies have to end the gestation process being outside the womb of their mother, we start to count the corrected age from the time when the baby should have been born. Therefore, a 6 months of corrected age baby is comparable to a 6 months term 1, and a 12 months of corrected age baby is comparable to a 12 months term 1. The Griffith Scale was created in 1954 in England and was improved and standardized for the Colombian population from 1977 to 1985 by Nelson Ortiz and Leah Woody. We have also recently received a second version of Griffith test that modifies some items of the test that we use in our Kangaroo program. This scale has high reliability and validity and has a predictive value at 4, 8, and 12 years of corrected age. We recently discovered that at 15 years of corrected age might also have predictive value. The Griffith test is divided into 5 subscales: locomotive, personal social, hearing and speech, manual oculus coordination, execution. After the 3rd year of age, it is added the practical reasoning subscale. These subscales are balanced with equal representation value and difficulty. In 1996, it was reviewed and validated in England for children for up to 2 years of age by a group of researchers. This new version, compared with the above, preserves the general form in which the original test was conceived, gives greater importance to the process, adds some items, improves and clarifies applications instructions, clearly delineates the successful criteria of the items, radically changes scores and interpretation, and rates the mean and the standard deviation. This review gave the test a proper assessment of the standards, expectations, behaviors and activities of the baby's growth and development in the environment of modern life. Philosophy on which the construction of the scale is based. The development rests on the organic, biological functioning and the manifestation of the basic needs. The physiological functions are rhythmic. They happen regularly in time, creating habits and allowing the child to anticipate the situation. The child from the birth is immersed in a certain socio-cultural environment which modifies and influences the experience and requires of him or her constant adjustments. At the beginning of life, there are subtle movements and reflexes, then become volunteers and specialized, producing differentiation that drives the body to move in different dimensions and promotes muscle tone and locomotive development. This last one overlaps the biological and physiological substrate. The movements of arms and hands that were initially diffuse and directionless then become voluntary acts, accompanying complex overlapping series to the motor body and legs. For handling, the eye and the hand must cooperate. The eye is firstly fixed and then follows the movements. The hand is in contact with surrounding objects, which complements the vision. Both are expressed together in the manipulative complex development or execution. This leads to postulate the eye and hand as 2 of the highways of development. But the child's not silent. From the day the baby is born, it starts listening to the sounds around. He makes vague sounds, screams that become babbling. He hears along with the voice, produces vocalizations that eventually lead to oral and written language. It can be inferred that the voice and hearing are 2 other highways of development and learning. Global development takes place in space and time. On the one side, the hand and the eye explore the space environment, while the child builds his or her own conception of space outside his or her sense of touch. On the other side, listening and speaking occurs over time and allow the child to anticipate experiences and consider them significant. Eye, hand, body, listening, and voice all together cooperate for acquiring the complex activity of understanding language and movement. The execution and speech are two of the most important aspects of the intellectual development and form the basis of verbal and practical education. All previously annotated leads the authors to postulate that the development could be approached from 5 complementary areas named as follows: locomotive, personal social, hearing and language, eye-hand coordination, and execution. The evaluation should be balanced, accurate, and comprehensive. It should lead to a full map or diagram of the mental development of the child. That will be qualified by items that go from simple to complex, and that in each area, items of the same level of difficulty are included. The evaluation must have a photograph of the child on separate areas or as a whole. Subscale's description. Locomotive subscale measures the overall tone and maturation of the muscles of the neck and head, identifies weaknesses, specific defects, and disabled movements on the child. Socio-personal subscale measures emotional disturbances and processes child's independence. It also measures the child's relationship with his family and social environment. Hearing and language subscale. It is known as the intellectual scale, measures hearing and the ability to understand and produce language. Eye-hand coordination subscale measures the skill the child has to work with hand and eye and with both simultaneously. It also measures the deliberate manipulation and exploration of the environment, the consistency, care, and diligence at work. It also identifies visual and hand movement difficulties. Execution subscale. It is the scale of performance, planning, and rationing. Places the child in a situation that must be resolved with some kind of hand-eye coordination. Measures the particular way the child solves problems and applies his or her skills. Test advantages. Facilitates enforcement and flexibility. Facilitates qualification, interpretation, and execution of the profile. Equitable value of the subscale. The only test that is standardized in Colombia. Correlation with neurological screening test in FENIP. Works for kids until 8 years old.